The alarm screamed through the cockpit, slammed his fist against the control panel, but nothing changed. Red lights flashed everywhere. His small cargo ship was spinning out of control. Come on, muttered. He had been flying freighters for 6 years. He knew every sound his ship made. This was bad. The navigation system had failed without warning. One moment he was cruising toward the trade hub. The next moment, everything went wrong. Now his ship was tumbling through space like a broken toy. Gripped the manual controls. His knuckles turned white. The trade station grew larger in his viewport, too large, too fast. He fired the emergency thrusters. The ship lurched sideways. Metal groaned around him. At least he was not spinning anymore, but he was still going way too fast. The station's docking bay rushed toward him, closed his eyes for a second, then opened them. He had to try. His hands moved across the controls, doing everything he could remember from emergency training. The ship hit the docking bay hard. The impact threw forward against his safety straps. Sparks flew, metal screeched. Then everything went quiet except for the hissing of broken pipes. His head hurt. He touched his forehead and his hand came away red. Blood. He unbuckled himself and tried to stand. The world spun. He fell against the wall. The airlock door blew open. Steam poured in. Through the fog saw shapes moving toward him. Tall shapes, definitely not human. "Don't move," a clicking voice said. "Medical team coming." Wanted to say he was fine, but the words would not come out. The floor rushed up to meet him. Everything went black. When woke up, he was lying on something soft. Bright lights shined down on him. He tried to sit up, but something held him down gently. "Stay still," the clicking voice said again. "You are injured." Turned his head. Standing next to him was a creature that looked like a giant insect. It had 6 legs and 4 arms. Its eyes were huge and black. Shiny green armor covered its body. "What?" started to say. "I am," the creature said. Its mouth parts clicked together when it talked. "Chief Medical Officer, you crashed. We are treating you." Remembered now. 442 was a mixed-species station. He had been here before, but only in the docking areas, never in the medical section. "I need to scan you," said. One of its arms pulled a large device over its body. "Stay very still. This tells me what injuries you have." The machine hummed. Blue light washed over from head to toe. He lay still like told him. The scan took maybe 10 seconds. Then the machine made a loud beeping sound. Words appeared on a screen in bright red letters. Leaned closer to read them. All of its arms froze in place. "What is it?" asked. "Is something wrong?" Did not answer. It tapped the screen with one claw. The clicking sounds it made got faster and higher. Thought maybe that Mint was upset. "The machine must be broken," said. It pulled the scanner back and looked at it closely. "This cannot be right." "What cannot be right?" Tried to sit up again. This time nothing held him down. He could see the screen now. The red letters said, "Royal Lineage DETCTED Priority Protocol Alpha." "I am not royalty," said. "I am just a cargo pilot from your machine is definitely broken." Made more clicking sounds. "The scanner has never failed before, but you are correct. This makes no sense." It pulled out a small tool and started adjusting the machine. "I will recalibrate and scan again." Watch work on the scanner. The insect-like alien moved all 4 of its arms at once, checking different parts of the device. After a few minutes, seemed satisfied. "Try again now," said. The scanner moved back over. Blue light washed over him a second time. The machine beeped. The same red letters appeared. "Royal Lineage DETCTD Priority Protocol Alpha." Whole body went rigid. "Impossible," it clicked. "The scanner is working perfectly. I just checked everything." "Maybe it is broken in a way you cannot see," suggested. "I am telling you, I am nobody special. My father worked in a factory. My mother was a teacher. We are regular people." But was not listening anymore. It rushed to a wall panel and pressed several buttons. Red lights started flashing in the medical bay. A loud alarm went off. "What are you doing?" shouted over the noise. "Lockdown protocol," said. Heavy metal doors slammed shut over all the exits. "If you truly are royalty, there are rules I must follow. I must alert the station commander immediately." "I am not," started to argue, but was already speaking into a communication device. "Commander, this is Medical Bay 3. We have a priority alpha situation. Royal lineage detected in the crash survivor, requesting immediate assistance." A deep hissing voice came through the speaker. "Say that again. Did you say royal lineage?" "Yes, Commander. The scanner has confirmed it twice." "I am coming personally. Secure the area. Let no one in or out." The communication ended. Turned back to, "You should rest. The commander will be here soon." "This is crazy," said. "There has to be a mistake." "The scanner does not make mistakes," insisted. It reads genetic markers that only exist in the ruling families of 47 known civilizations. If it says you are royal, then you are royal. Lay back down. His head still hurt from the crash. Now it hurt more from confusion. Royal him? That was impossible. He had spent his whole life working hard just to afford his little cargo ship. He hauled supplies between stations. He lived in a tiny apartment back on Earth. Nothing about his life was royal. Outside the medical bay he could hear sound. Footsteps, lots of them, heavy footsteps. "Why are there so many people out there?" asked. Antennae drooped. Word spreads fast on the station. Everyone will have heard by now. Royalty arrivals are very rare, very important. The doors opened suddenly. Soldiers poured in. They were not human. They looked like lizards walking on two legs covered in silver armor. They carried weapons. Behind them came a larger lizard creature. This one wore a dark blue uniform with gold symbols on it. It had to be Commander. The commander's yellow eyes fixed on. Its forked tongue flicked out, tasting the air. "So," hissed, "this is our mysterious royal guest." Raised one hand in an awkward wave. "Hi, I think there has been a big mistake." "We shall see," said. The commander looked at. "Show me the scan results." As pulled up the data, more faces appeared at the windows of the medical bay. Aliens of different species, all trying to get a look at. They pressed against the glass, their eyes wide with curiosity. Had never felt more confused in his entire life. A few hours ago, he had been hauling grain to the outer colonies. Now he was locked in a medical bay, surrounded by alien soldiers being called royalty. He touched his head where the blood had dried. Maybe he hit his head harder than he thought. Maybe this was all a strange dream. But the cold metal bed felt real. The clicking sounds made felt real. The hissing breath of Commander felt very, very real. Whatever was happening, it was not a dream, and had a feeling his quiet life as a cargo pilot was about to change forever. Commander stared at the scan results for a long time. Its scaled fingers tapped against the screen. The clicking sound echoed in the quiet medical bay. "Run it again," finally said. "I already scanned him twice," protested, "both times." "I said run it again." His voice was sharp. His antennae drooped, but it obeyed. For the third time, blue light washed over. For the third time, the machine beeped. The same red letters appeared. "Royal Lineage, DETCTD Priority Protocol Alpha." Made a low hissing sound. "Bring me the technical manual for this scanner. I want to see exactly what genetic markers it looks for." While hurried to find the manual, sat up on the medical bed. "Commander, can I ask a question?" Turned those yellow eyes on him. "Speak. What does this machine actually detect? Maybe if I understand it, I can explain why it is wrong." The commander's tongue flicked out again. Was learning that meant was thinking. "The scanner reads DNA patterns, specific sequences that appear in the genetic code of royal families across the known galaxy. These patterns are very rare, very specific." "But I am human," said. "Humans only joined the galactic community 20 years ago. How would we have royal genetic markers that match alien royalty?" "An excellent question," admitted. "That is why this is so troubling. The markers should not exist in your species at all." Returned with a data pad showing the technical manual, read through it carefully. Its eyes moved back and forth across the screen. "According to this," said slowly, "the markers detected are sequence group 7. This sequence appears in the royal houses of the Empire, own people, as well as in 14 other major civilizations. It is one of the oldest and most prestigious lineages." "Maybe the machine is just broken," suggested again. "The machine runs a self-diagnostic after every scan," said. "All systems show green, no errors, no malfunctions." The commander looked at with what might have been suspicion. "Are you certain you know nothing about your family history?" "I know everything about my family," said. He was starting to get frustrated. "My grandparents were farmers. My great-grandparents were also farmers. We have family records going back 200 years. Everyone was normal. Nobody was royalty." Paced back and forth. Its claws clicked on the metal floor. "There is one way to test this. Are there any other humans on the station?" Checked its computer. "Yes, Commander. 2. A medical officer named who works in the civilian wing, and a maintenance worker named Wu. Bring them both here immediately. I want them scanned." "Right away, Commander," spoke into its communication device. Felt a small hope rise in his chest. When the scanner showed normal results for the other humans, everyone would see it was a mistake. Then he could get his ship repaired and leave this crazy situation behind. 15 minutes later, a human woman in a medical uniform entered the bay. She looked confused and worried. Behind her came a man in a maintenance jumpsuit carrying a tool bag. "Wu," called out. He had never met them before, but he was happy to see other human faces. What is going on? Asked. She looked at the soldiers, then at, they said it was an emergency. They think I am royalty, explained, because of some weird scanner result. Can you believe it? Wu laughed. You, royal, that is the best joke I heard all week. It is not a joke, said coldly. Please, both of you lie on these medical beds, we'll scan you. And Wu exchanged glances. Slowly they did as they were told, moved the scanner over first. Blue light humming, then beeping. Royal Lineage, DETCTD Priority Protocol Alpha. Sat up fast. What? No, that is impossible. Scan him, ordered, pointing at Wu. The scanner moved to Wu, same process, same result. Royal Lineage, DETCTD Priority Protocol Alpha. Wu's mouth fell open. This machine is definitely broken. But saw the expression on his face. The commander was not looking at the scanner anymore. It was looking at the three humans, and could see fear in those yellow eyes, real fear. All three, whispered. All three humans show the same markers. His clicking became very fast and high-pitched. Commander, what does this mean? Did not answer. Instead, it pulled out a communication device. This is Commander. I need an emergency connection to the Galactic Council. Priority 1. Immediately. I spoke in low hisses to someone on the other end, looked at and Wu. Do either of you have any royal ancestors? Asked quietly. Shook her head. My family runs a restaurant in Seoul. We have for 4 generations. My dad is an electrician, Wu said. My mom works at a library. I'm about as far from royal as you can get. Same here, said. So why does the machine say we are? Maybe all humans have these markers, suggested. Maybe it is just something in human DNA that matches by coincidence. Wu nodded. That would make sense. Random genetic similarity happens all the time, right? But was not so sure. He had seen his face. The commander knew something that scared it. Finished its call and turned back to them. I have contacted the council. They are sending a specialist team. Until they arrive, you 3 will remain here under protective custody. Protective custody, stood up. You cannot keep us here. We have jobs, responsibilities. This is for your own safety, insisted. If word spreads that humans carry royal genetic markers, there could be chaos. Some will want to honor you. Others will want to use you. Still others will want to eliminate what they see as a threat to current power structures. This is insane, Wu said. We are just regular people. Perhaps, said, but the scanner does not lie, and I must follow protocol until we understand what is happening. Walked to the window. Outside, the crowd had grown larger. Dozens of aliens pressed against the glass now. They pointed at the humans. Some took pictures with their devices. Could see them talking excitedly to each other. Too late, said. The word is already spreading. Cursed in its own language. It barked orders at the soldiers. They moved to cover the windows with metal shutters. Said, contact Earth. Find out if there are any human medical officers or genetic specialists who can come here quickly. We need someone who understands human biology. I will try, Commander, said, but Earth is 3 days away even by fast ship. Do it anyway. Returned to his medical bed and sat down. His head still hurt from the crash. Now he had a whole new headache to deal with. Next to him, looked pale and worried. Wu kept checking his communication device, probably trying to call someone. What do you think is really going on? Asked quietly. I do not know, admitted, but I think it is bigger than just a scanner malfunction. Did you see how scared the commander looked? I saw, said, whatever this is, it is serious. The door opened again. A new alien entered, this one bird-like with bright blue feathers and a sharp beak. It wore the uniform of a news reporter and carried a camera drone. Commander, the bird alien chirped. Is it true? Have you discovered unknown royalty among the humans? The station is buzzing with rumors. Get out, hissed. This area is restricted. The people have a right to know. If humans are royalty, this changes everything. Every treaty, every agreement, every. Remove this reporter, roared. Soldiers grabbed the bird alien and dragged it out. Its voice echoed down the hallway. The truth will come out. You cannot hide this. The galaxy will know. Slammed its fist into the wall. The metal dented. This is becoming a disaster. Commander, said hesitantly, I have Earth on the line. They are sending someone. A scientist named, expert in human genetics, but it will take time. How much time? 3 days minimum. Made that hissing sound again. 3 days. In 3 days, this story will spread to every corner of the galaxy. It looked at the 3 humans. I hope you are ready. Your lives are about to change in ways you cannot imagine. Looked at his hands. They were the same hands that had gripped the ship controls during the crash. Regular hands, working hands, not royal hands, whatever those were supposed to look like. But if the scanner was right, if all humans somehow carried these mysterious genetic markers, then was correct. This changed everything. Thought about his sister Bo back on Earth. She was a university student studying history. She would probably find this whole situation fascinating. He needed to call her, warn her, tell her what was happening before she heard it on the news. Commander said, "Can I make a call to Earth to my family?" Considered for a moment, then nodded. "Yes, but keep it brief, and tell them to prepare. The galaxy is about to learn something new about humanity. I just hope we are all ready for what comes next." The call to Earth took almost an hour to connect. Sat in a small private room off the medical bay with a video screen in front of him. When his sister Bo's face finally appeared, she looked sleepy. It was probably the middle of the night in Korea. "What is wrong? You never call this late," Bo said, rubbing her eyes. "Bo, something crazy is happening. I need you to listen carefully." He explained everything: the crash, the scanner, the royal lineage detection, how it happened to all three humans on the station. Bo's eyes got wider and wider as he talked. "Wait," she interrupted. "You are saying every human might be genetically royal. That makes no sense. Royal compared to what?" "That is what we are trying to figure out," said. "They are sending a scientist from Earth, someone named. Do you know anything about genetics?" Bo laughed. "I study history, not biology, but—" She paused, thinking. "Maybe I can help. If this is about genetics and royalty, there might be historical records, old legends, something that could explain this. Do you think you can find anything?" "I can try. Give me a few hours. I will call every professor I know." The screen went dark, felt a little better. Bo was smart. If anyone could dig up useful information, it was her. When returned to the main medical bay, he found new arrivals. A tall, thin alien with skin and huge black eyes stood talking to. This alien wore white robes decorated with scientific symbols. "Ah, there you are," said when it saw. "This is, one of the best in the galaxy, studies how different species relate to each other genetically." Turned its large eyes on. When it spoke, its voice was musical and strange. "Fascinating, absolutely fascinating. I have never seen anything like this." "Like what?" asked. "The genetic markers in your DNA," said, approaching like he was an interesting insect. "May I take a sample, just a small bit of blood or skin?" Looked at, who nodded. "It is safe, is trying to help us understand this mystery." "Okay," agreed, "sure." Produced a small device and pressed it against his arm. There was a quick pinch, then it was done. Hurried over to a workstation and began running tests. And Wu also gave samples. Soon was studying all three human DNA sequences, comparing them to alien samples stored in its database. Hours passed, and Wu waited in the medical bay. They could not leave because said it was too dangerous. Outside they could hear commotion, protesters, news reporters. Everyone wanted to know what was happening with the humans. Finally made excited chirping sound. "Commander, come look at this." Everyone crowded around's workstation. The screen showed complex genetic charts and sequences that meant nothing to. "Explain it simply," ordered. "These markers that the scanner detected," said, pointing at the screen. "They exist in 47 different alien royal families across the galaxy. We always assumed these families engineered the markers into their genes thousands of years ago, a way to prove their lineage, to prevent." "Yes, we know this," said impatiently. "But here is what is strange," continued. "In the alien royal families, these markers appear artificial, like someone inserted them carefully into specific locations in the DNA. But in these humans," his voice became excited again, "in these humans the markers appear natural. They evolved naturally. They are integrated into the DNA in a way that shows they have been there for a very, very long time." The room went silent. "What does that mean?" asked. Turned to her. "It means the markers did not originate in any of the royal families we know. They originated in humans, or rather, in Earth life. The alien royal family, something that already existed in your species." "That is impossible," said flatly. "Humans are new to the galaxy. The royal lineages are over 100,000 years old." "Which means," said slowly, "that either your history is wrong, or something very strange happened a long time ago." Before anyone could respond, rushed into the room. "Commander, we have a problem, a big one." "What now?" "A ship just arrived from the outer rim. They claim to be custodians." Scales went pale, even looked shocked. "The custodians are a myth," they said. "Apparently not," replied. "They are requesting to dock. They say they have information about the humans." "Let them dock," said quietly, "but keep security on high alert." "Who are the custodians?" asked. "A legend," explained. "An ancient order that supposedly watches over certain secrets in the galaxy. Most people think they are just a story, but if they are real—" The commander did not finish the thought. 20 minutes later, a hooded figure entered the medical bay. It was humanoid in shape, but its face was hidden in shadow. When it spoke, its voice seemed to come from everywhere at once. "I am," the figure said. "I represent the custodians. We have watched this station with interest since the scanner results became known." "What do you know about this?" demanded. Moved closer to the three humans. "More than you can imagine. Tell me, have any of you heard the legend of the first garden?" They all shook their heads. "I thought not," said. "It is a story so old that most civilizations have forgotten it, but the custodians remember. We have always remembered." "Stop being mysterious and explain," ordered. Turned to face the commander. "Very well. 200,000 years ago, there was a planet. A beautiful planet covered in blue oceans and green forests. It was called by many names, but the most common was simply the Garden. This planet gave birth to the first intelligent species in this part of the galaxy." Earth whispered. "Perhaps," said. "We know the Garden produced a species that looked much like modern humans. They were explorers, inventors. They spread across the stars long before any civilization we know today existed. They visited thousands of worlds, met thousands of primitive species, and sometimes they shared their genetic material." Felt his heart beating faster. "Are you saying ancient humans visited alien worlds?" "We believe so," confirmed. "These ancient humans with local species on various planets, their DNA mixed with alien DNA. Over thousands of generations, this created new hybrid species, species that looked nothing like the original humans but carried fragments of their genetic code." Made an excited sound. "The royal markers, those fragments became the royal bloodlines." "Exactly," said. "The noble families across the galaxy all descend in part from these ancient human visitors. That is why they share similar genetic markers. They all trace back to the same origin point, the same source, Earth." "But what happened to these ancient humans?" Wu asked. "Unknown," admitted. "They disappeared from the galaxy suddenly, about 150,000 years ago. Perhaps they died out. Perhaps they returned to the garden and chose to stay there. The custodians have searched for answers but found none." "Until now," said quietly. "Until modern humans appeared with the pure, original markers still intact in their DNA." "Yes," said. "You modern humans evolved on Earth after the ancient ones disappeared. You share their DNA because you share there. You are their descendants, or perhaps their cousins. Either way, you carry the original, unmodified genetic code that all the royal families in the galaxy trace their lineage to." His mind was reeling. "So every human is like a genetic ancestor to alien royalty." "In a sense, yes," said, "which creates a rather complicated political situation." "Complicated?" Laughed bitterly. "Complicated is a gentle word. If this becomes public knowledge, it will turn the entire galactic order upside down. Every royal family will have to acknowledge that their noble blood came from a species they considered primitive newcomers. Every claim to divine right or ancient heritage will be challenged." "It is already becoming public," reminded them. "The news is spreading. We cannot stop it." Nodded. "Which is why I am here. The custodians believe it is time for the truth to be known. We have kept this secret for too long, but we also believe humanity must be protected during this transition. There are those who will not accept this revelation peacefully." As if on cue, an explosion rocked the station. Alarms blared. The lights flickered. "What was that?" shouted. Checked its communication device. Its face went dark. "An attack. Someone just tried to blow up the docking bay where the custodian ship is parked." "I warned you," said calmly. "There are factions that fear the truth. They will do anything to silence it, and that includes eliminating those who carry the proof in their very cells." Looked at and Wu. They looked back at him with fear in their eyes. They were just ordinary people. Healed the sick. Wu fixed broken things. Flew cargo ships. None of them were ready to be hunted by people who wanted to protect ancient lies. "What do we do?" asked. "Straighten to its full height. We protect you, all of you, and we wait for to arrive from Earth. When we have a human expert here, we can present our findings to the Galactic Council officially. Until then, you stay here where my soldiers can guard you." "Will that be enough?" Wu asked. Nobody answered, because nobody knew. 2 days after the attack, finally arrived from Earth. The human scientist was a small woman with short hair and sharp eyes. She carried 3 large cases of equipment and looked exhausted from the journey. "Where are they?" asked as soon as she entered the medical bay. "Where are the humans with the markers?" Gestured to and Wu. "These 3. We have kept them safe, though there have been 2 more attempted attacks." Set down her cases and immediately started pulling out scanning devices and sample collectors. "I need blood from all of you, skin cells, hair, everything I can analyze." For the next several hours, worked without stopping. She barely spoke except to ask technical questions. Helped her, the two scientists working together despite the language barrier and species difference. Watch them work. Outside the medical bay, the station was on lockdown. More ships arrived every day. Some came to protect the humans. Others came with darker intentions. Soldiers stood guard constantly, but even they looked nervous. Bo called again during the second day. Her image appeared on the screen looking tired but excited. I found something, she said. Ancient Korean legends. There are stories about sky people who came down in silver birds. They taught humans how to farm, how to build, how to use tools. These stories exist in cultures all over Earth, not just Korea. The legends all describe the same thing: tall visitors with advanced knowledge who came and then left suddenly. When did these legends say the sky people disappeared? Asked. Bo checked her notes. Different cultures give different times, but most suggest between 100 and 200,000 years ago. Some stories say the sky people promised to return. Others say they went asleep deep in the earth, waiting for the right time to wake up. Sky people, repeated. Could they have been the ancient humans talked about? Maybe, Bo said. Or maybe the ancient humans met early Earth humans and taught them things. Either way, the timing matches. This could rewrite all of human history. It already is, said sadly. Every hour more ships arrive. Some want to honor us. Some want to kill us. I just wanted to deliver cargo and go home. I know, Bo said softly, but maybe this happened for a reason. Maybe you are supposed to be part of this. After had been working for almost 20 hours straight, she finally stopped. She looked then at the three human subjects. I need to address the Galactic Council, said. What we have discovered is too important to keep secret any longer. Tell us first, insisted. Took a deep breath. Was right. The markers in human DNA are natural and ancient, but there is more. I compared samples from all over Earth. We brought genetic databases with us. Every human carries these markers, not just Wu. Every single human on Earth has them. 7 billion royals, Wu whispered. That is insane. It gets stranger, continued. The markers are not random. They serve a biological function. They appear to be related to certain traits: adaptability, social bonding, creative problem solving. These traits helped ancient humans survive and spread across the galaxy. When they shared DNA with other species, they passed on these same traits. So the royal families did not just inherit genetic markers, said slowly. They inherited actual beneficial traits from ancient humans. Exactly, confirmed. Which explains why royal bloodlines have been so successful across so many different species. They literally have human DNA helping them adapt and lead. Made a long hissing sound. The council must hear this, all of this, and they must hear it from you directly. I agree, said, but we need to be careful how we present it. This information could start wars. It already has, said, appearing from a shadowed corner where it had been standing silently. 3 conflicts have broken out in the last day alone. Noble houses fighting over what this means for their claims to power. We must act quickly. An emergency session of the Galactic Council was called. It was the first time in 50 years that all member species gathered at once. The meeting was held in a massive chamber on a neutral station, but the proceedings were broadcast across the galaxy. And Wu were brought to the station under heavy guard. They sat in a special viewing area, watching as representatives from hundreds of worlds filed into the chamber. The leader of the council was an ancient being called Praetor. It was a custodian, and it had lived for over 4,000 years. Its form was hidden beneath heavy robes, but its voice commanded absolute attention. We gather in unusual times, Praetor announced. 3 humans have tested positive for royal genetic markers. This has created chaos across civilized space. Today we will hear the evidence and determine the truth. And presented their findings. They showed genetic charts, historical data, and analysis that made even the most skeptical council members pay attention. The evidence was overwhelming. When they finished, the chamber erupted in noise. Alien representatives shouted at each other in 100 different languages. Some demanded that humans be granted immediate royal status. Others argued this was a trick or a hoax. Praetor raised one robed arm. Silence fell instantly. Honored council members, the ancient custodian said, I have information that may help clarify this situation. Information that the custodians have protected for many thousands of years. The chamber went completely quiet. Even the translators seemed to hold their breath. Earth is real, Praetor said simply. The garden, the first world, the origin, all names for the same place. Earth is where intelligent life first emerged in this region of the galaxy. 200,000 years ago, early humans developed advanced technology. They explored. They met primitive species on many worlds. Sometimes they helped these species. Sometimes they mixed with them genetically. Preetor gestured toward and Wu. These modern humans are not the ancient explorers. They are what remained on Earth after the ancients departed. They evolved naturally, separately into their current form, but they share the same home, the same genetic legacy, and yes, the same markers that we find in royal bloodlines across the galaxy. This makes every human royalty, someone shouted from the council floor. No, Preetor said firmly. It makes every human a carrier of ancient heritage, just as it makes everyone in this room a carrier of ancient heritage. The ancient humans gave genetic gifts to many species. Those gifts have spread far and wide. In truth, we are all connected to Earth. We are all children of the garden in one way or another. An alien representative stood up. It was tall and crystalline, its body reflecting light in rainbow patterns. If this is true, then humans have a claim to genetic seniority over all of us. They could demand tribute, territories, power. All eyes turned to Wu. Felt his heart pounding. Everyone was staring at them, waiting to see what the humans would say. He looked at Wu. They looked back at him. None of them were leaders. None of them wanted power. But someone had to speak. Stood up slowly. His legs felt shaky. May I say something? Preetor gestured. The human may speak. Walked down to the council floor. Hundreds of alien eyes followed him. Cameras recorded every movement. This moment would be shown across the galaxy. Whatever he said next would matter. I am just a cargo pilot, began. His voice echoed in the huge chamber. 2 weeks ago, my biggest problem was a broken navigation system. I did not ask for any of this. I did not ask to be called royal. I did not ask to have ancient DNA. He looked around the chamber. But since we are here, I will tell you what I think. I think it does not matter where our DNA came from. It does not matter if humans were first or aliens were first or if we all mixed together a long time ago. What matters is what we do now, today, how we treat each other. Some of the council members shifted in their seats. Others leaned forward to listen. My friend heals people, continued. She helps anyone who is sick, whether they are human or alien. My friend Wu fixes things that are broken. He does not ask what species built it first. And me? I carry supplies to stations that need them. I do not care who is waiting to receive them. Took a deep breath. So here is what I think about this royal lineage thing. I think it is interesting. I think it is important history that we should understand. But I do not think it should change anything about how we live together. I do not want power over anyone. I do not want tribute or territories. I just want to fly my ship and deliver my cargo and live in peace. He looked directly at Preetor. Earth does not want to rule the galaxy. We just want to be part of it. As equals, as friends, is that okay? The chamber was silent for a long moment. Then Preetor began to make a sound. It took a moment to realize the ancient custodian was laughing. Spoken like a true human, Preetor said. Practical, direct, focused on cooperation rather than domination. Perhaps that is the real gift your species brings to the galaxy, not genetic markers but wisdom. But before anyone could respond further, alarms began blaring. Security rushed into the chamber. ASSASSINS, someone screamed. They're in the council chamber. Everything happened very fast. Figures in dark armor burst from the upper galleries of the council chamber. They carried weapons that glowed with dangerous energy. Their target was clear. They were heading straight for Wu. Moved first. The commander threw itself in front of the humans, scales hardening into defensive plating. Other security forces followed. Energy blasts lit up the chamber. Council members screamed and ran for cover. Appeared beside the 3 humans in a swirl of dark robes. Stay behind me, the custodian commanded. A shimmering shield of light formed around them. Energy blasts hit the shield and scattered harmlessly, but more assassins kept coming. There had to be at least 20 of them, all focused on killing the humans. Why are they doing this? Shouted over the noise of weapons fire. Because some people fear change more than death, replied calmly. If humans are recognized as having historical significance, it threatens the existing power structure. Some would rather destroy the evidence than accept the truth. Saw fighting 3 assassins at once. The commander was strong and fast, but outnumbered. Wu grabbed a piece of broken furniture and threw it at one of the attackers, giving an opening. More security forces arrived. The battle turned. The assassins were being pushed back, but their leader, a tall figure in red armor, was still fighting toward the humans with single-minded determination. You will not rewrite history, the red assassin shouted. The royal bloodlines are sacred. They cannot descend from primitive earth creatures. The assassin raised its weapon, aiming directly at. Time seemed to slow down. Saw the weapon charging, saw the glow building. He knew he could not dodge fast enough. Then Preetor stepped between them. The energy blast hit the ancient custodian square in the chest. Praetor's robes burned away, revealing a body made of pure light underneath. The custodian absorbed the energy blast, seemed to grow brighter, then released it back at the assassin. The red-armored figure flew backward and crashed into a wall, unconscious. Enough, Praetor's voice boomed through the chamber. The light radiating from its body made everyone stop fighting. This violence ends now. The remaining assassins dropped their weapons. Security quickly surrounded them. The battle was over. Praetor's light dimmed. New robes materialized around it. The ancient custodian turned to the council members who were slowly emerging from hiding. "You have just witnessed what fear and ignorance can create," Praetor said. "Those who attacked us today were not defending truth. They were defending their own power, their own pride. But truth does not care about pride. Truth simply is." The custodian walked back to the center of the chamber, and Wu followed cautiously. Cameras focused on them again. "The evidence is clear," Praetor continued. "Humans carry genetic markers that predate all known royal lineages. This is fact. The question is, what do we do with this fact?" A council member stood up. It was the crystalline alien who had spoken before. "Praetor, with respect, we cannot simply ignore the implications. If humans have genetic seniority, the law says they should be granted status above current royal families." "The law was written in ignorance," Praetor replied. "It assumed royal markers were engineered by the families who carry them. We now know this is false. Should we let an old law destroy the peace of the galaxy?" Another council member rose. This one was small and furry with big ears. "But we cannot ignore what the young human said either. He spoke of cooperation, of equality. Perhaps this is an opportunity to move beyond ancient hierarchies altogether." Murmurs spread through the chamber. Some sounded approving, others sounded scandalized. Praetor turned to, "Human, you said you want only to be equals, to be friends. Does all of Earth feel this way?" Felt his communication device vibrate. He looked down. A message from Bo. 100 countries just sent a joint statement. "We don't want special treatment. We just want respect." "Yes," said, showing the message to Praetor. "Earth wants to be part of the galactic community as equals. We do not want to rule anyone. We never did." "Even though you could claim the right to rule," the crystalline alien challenged. "Step forward. What kind of people would we be if we demanded power just because our DNA is old? That would make us tyrants, not leaders." "We have our own history on Earth," Wu added. "Thousands of years of kings and emperors who claimed they had the right to rule because of their bloodline. We learned that was wrong. Why would we repeat that mistake on a galactic scale?" Praetor looked around the chamber. "You hear them. The humans reject the very thing some of you fear they will claim. They offer cooperation instead of domination. How do you respond?" For a long moment, no one spoke. Then stepped forward, its armor scorched from the battle. "I am," said. "My species has a royal family that has ruled for 60,000 years. According to the evidence, that royal family carries human genetic markers from ancient times. This means my emperors are part human, whether we like it or not." The commander looked at and Wu. "I fought beside these humans today. I watched them refuse power when it was offered. I heard them speak of cooperation and respect. These are values my people claim to cherish. How can I reject humans as equals when they embody the very principles our royal family claims to represent?" Other council members began to stand, one by one. "The Federation recognizes humans as equals," a bird-like alien announced. "The Verdant Collective stands with humanity," said a plant-based life form. One by one, species after species made their declarations. Some were enthusiastic, some were reluctant, but the tide was turning. The crystalline alien stood last. "The Commonwealth accepts the new reality. We recognize Earth as the historical origin point of certain genetic traits found across the galaxy. We recognize modern humans as inheritors of this legacy, and we accept them as equals in the Galactic Council." Praetor raised both arms. "Then it is decided. Earth and humanity are granted full membership in the Galactic Council. They will be recognized for their historical significance without claiming superiority over others. Their genetic heritage will be documented and honored, but it will not grant them special political power." The ancient custodian turned to face directly. "Human, you came here as a crashed pilot. You leave as a representative of your entire species. How does that feel?" Laughed nervously. "Terrifying, honestly. I still do not feel like the right person for this." "Perhaps that is exactly why you are the right person," Praetor said. "Those who seek power rarely deserve it. Those who run from power often understand its weight." A new figure appeared at the chamber entrance. It was a human woman in a formal diplomatic uniform. She looked poised and confident. "I am," the woman announced. I have been sent by Earth's united government to serve as official ambassador to the Galactic Council. Felt a wave of relief wash over him. Finally, someone who knew what they were doing. Walked over to and Wu, she bowed respectfully to them. Thank you for representing humanity so well. Your words today have been broadcast across Earth. You made us all proud. We just told the truth, said. Sometimes that is the hardest thing to do, replied. She turned to address the council. Earth has authorized me to make several proposals. First, we want to establish cultural exchange programs with all interested species. Second, we want to create a joint research initiative to study our shared genetic history. Third, we want to contribute to galactic peacekeeping forces to help prevent conflicts like the one we saw today. Earth seeks to give, not just take, Preeter observed. Another sign of wisdom. The council session continued for several more hours. Treaties were drafted. Agreements were signed. A new era of galactic relations was beginning, built on truth instead of ignorance. Finally, it was over, and Wu were free to leave. They walked out of the council chamber together, exhausted. What now? Wu asked. I want to go back to work, said. People still need doctors. I have a broken ship to repair, added. Cargo does not deliver itself. You are both insane, Wu said. We just helped reshape galactic politics and you want to go back to normal life. Why not? Replied. We did what needed to be done. Now someone else can handle the politics. That is job, not ours. But as they walked through the station, noticed something different. Aliens who had ignored him before now nodded respectfully as he passed. Children of various species pointed at him with excitement. Someone asked for his autograph. I think normal life might be harder to get back to than you think, observed. She was probably right, but was determined to try. 3 weeks later, sat in the cockpit of his repaired ship. His cargo hold was full of medical supplies heading to a mining colony on the outer rim. It was a simple job, a good job. His communication console beeped. Bo's face appeared on the screen. Hey, famous brother, she teased. How does it feel to be back at work? Good, said honestly. Really good. No one is shooting at me. No one is calling me royal. I am just a pilot again. Just a pilot who gets recognized everywhere he goes, Bo laughed. I saw the news. You cannot buy a meal on any station without someone wanting to pay for it. That part is weird, admitted. But at least they understand I am not special. I just happen to be in the right place at the right time. Or the wrong place at the wrong time, depending on how you look at it. Smiled, yeah, but it worked out. Hey, how are your history studies going? Find any more legends about sky people? Dozens, Bo said excitedly. Turns out almost every culture on Earth has stories about visitors from the stars. Some of them have to be about the ancient humans. I'm writing my thesis on it. Let me know when it is published. I will read it. You will be too busy flying around being humble, Bo teased. That is what the news calls you now. The humble, the human who refused a crown. I never wanted a crown, said. I just want to fly. They talked for a few more minutes, then said goodbye, engaged his engines and plotted his course. The stars stretched out before him, infinite and beautiful. His scanner beeped. A message came through on the public channel. Attention all ships. Medical scanner protocols have been updated. Genetic heritage recognition now shows Earth origin instead of royal lineage for applicable species. Please update your equipment accordingly. Laughed. Somewhere on some station, a doctor would scan a human and the machine would still make that beeping sound. But now it would say something different, something true, something that honored the past without demanding power in the present. He thought about all the humans back on Earth living their normal lives, going to work, raising families, learning and growing. None of them were kings or queens, but they were all part of something ancient and important. And that was enough. Pushed his ship to full speed and headed for the outer rim. He had cargo to deliver, and somewhere out there, people were waiting for medical supplies that might save their lives. That was what really mattered, not DNA, not ancient history, not genetic markers. Just one person helping another, one species working with another, one galaxy learning to live together despite its differences. As his ship jumped to faster-than-light speed, smiled. The scanner might have said royal lineage detected, but the truth was simpler and better. It should have said human detected, and that was more than enough.